Hey guys, welcome back to Neon's Movie Reviews. I'm Neon, and this is my review channel. As you can see, I'm not quite visible today. I'm hoping this is just a side effect of having gone through so many Invisible Man movies these past few days, but regardless, I'm talking about the 2020 remake of Invisible Man, directed by Leigh Whannell. And this film truly impressed me. First things I want to get right out of the way. This was originally part of Universal's Dark Universe. So this would have been set in that Tom Cruise Mummy universe with the original plans. I think they were going to have Johnny Depp as the Invisible Man originally. So glad that the Mummy was such a cluster fire and that is not a thing anymore. Now we just have films made by independent filmmakers trying to do something unique with the IP, which is definitely the way this should go. But really quick, this is a newer film. I'm definitely not going to get too far into spoilers, or at least not in this section. But basic concept is you've got Elizabeth Moss. She has just escaped from a violent, abusive relationship, and now that she's gone, or now that she's left the relationship, she's notified that her ex has committed suicide and has left a lot of money to her. So as she's trying to just kind of deal with that, as well as just getting back, becoming used to the world again, she starts seeing and hearing things that she can't quite explain, and she believes that her ex is still alive and that toying with her. Of course, there's an invisible man sitting in that chair. People aren't going to believe her, especially with everything she's already been through. So, film really plays that angle, and that's really the only angle it plays, and it works really well. There are many points throughout the film where you, as an audience member, are unsure if you're actually watching an Invisible Man movie or if you're watching a story about a woman losing her sanity. And that for me was one of the best things. I also really, really want to talk about the cinematography in this. So this is a Leigh Whannell film. He's directed. He's a better known writer than he is a director. But as a director, he has truly impressed me. He came out of the gates with Insidious 3. He wrote the entire Insidious franchise. He wrote Saw with James Wan, and so directorial debut was Insidious 3, which I found to be a very intense, scary movie. He followed that up with Upgrade, which is one of my favorite films. I know I've talked to plenty of people that are just like, oh, that's an awesome action revenge movie. It's RoboCop, but it just more intense. And I look at that film as a straight body horror film. That is something that Cronenberg should have done. But absolutely love that film. And if I'm not mistaken, he uses the same composer as that film, but I know for a fact that he uses the same cinematographer. And good God, their pairing is something just special. In this, you have quite the opposite of what they pulled off in Upgrade. Upgrade, you had all these crazy shots with all these cool angles, and in this one, you have all these long static shots. Camera's not moving, just, it's got a character in this long wide shot of this room, and that's it. That's the whole scene. Characters, all the movements only as this one little corner of the screen. All is dead space. And then a lot of the time the character will leave. And you're just left watching this empty space, not knowing if somebody's there, why you're watching this space, and then you'll see something. Maybe something move. Maybe it looks like something falls, but you don't hear it land. Things like that. And it's really, really well done. and they really do a good job of just ratcheting up that tension till you get to your third act. And oh man, did they deliver. Yeah, as I said, this is a newer release. I'm not going to get much into spoilers in this. There are a few things that I do want to talk about, but I will probably leave those for another review. But yeah, this for me, in my opinion, I'm not going to give this a 9 out of 10. This is an 8 out of 10 for me, simply because I feel the film was a little bit slowly paced. And I know that was by design, but I do feel that there was a couple parts that either something should have been added into to heighten the pace, or just certain scenes should have been just taken out. But as a whole, I don't have any issues with any of those scenes. It's just in the beginning, I want to say about the first hour, it does feel very long. But that also feels like it's part of its design. It's that type of horror movie. This is a slow burn thriller. This is not something where you get those big glory shots or anything like that. Even the glory shots from the trailer, blink and you miss them in the actual movie, if they're even in the actual movie. And then that's something that I do want to talk about really quick. There's a couple parts in the trailer or in all of the trailers that are not in the film. And I think some of those were done for just, they shot the scenes, they messes with the pacing or whatnot. But I do feel that a lot of them were shot intentionally misleading, and they were just made for the trailer. And most of the time, I'm completely opposed to that. But in certain cases, like with J.J. Abrams' Star Trek reboot, where they did that, just that under development trailer, and none of that was shown in the actual film, but you don't need it to be shown. It was a concept trailer, and that's almost how I feel about this. One complaint I have heard about this film, which I wholeheartedly disagree, is that the marketing shows way too much. It doesn't. Even Leigh, when the film trailer came out, he was immediately just kind of like, and don't worry, this did not show you much at all. And yeah, it does and it doesn't. I will say that the trailer is misleading, makes you think it's a much more faster paced film than it will actually be, and that you'll have a lot of these just like moments. But when you actually watch the movie, it's much more Hitchcockian. It felt like a classical style of movie. Didn't feel like something that was made today. Even though the subject and everything going on in the world, it's very relevant. It's definitely a modern film. But the techniques that they use, the pacing, just the method of how they made this movie feels very classical. And it was really truly appreciated. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap this up. As I said, 8 out of 10, and it's probably going to go up as I rewatch this film. This film I truly loved. It just didn't wow me out of the park like some of the director's other films or other films I've seen, even in this series. But yeah, again, definitely looking good for the Dark Universe, or whatever it ends up being. I think I've heard talks about a Ryan Gosling Wolfman movie that I think he pitched the studio and they immediately greenlit. So I'm hoping that's another case like this where it's just, hey, I want to do a Wolfman movie. Here's my idea for it. Oh, okay. Does this connect to anything? No. Good. Let's make your movie. I really hope that's what this is. And I really hope we're getting away from the franchise or the cinematic universe approach to telling films. You can do that, but you still need to make a fundamental good film first. And I think a lot of studios are realizing, let's just go back to basics. Let's do what we can pull off very well. And every once in a while, let's give somebody a shot at something special. I hope that this is kind of an eye-opener for them that, hey, these riskier horror films is the way to go with these. At least for the horror remakes. or the classic monster movie remakes, I should say. But yeah, that's going to do this. Thank you all for watching. If you have seen this film, if you've seen the other films or the other Invisible Man movies that I've reviewed, let me know what you thought of them. Let me know which one you thought was best. And very glad that I'm done with this franchise. Hopefully my invisibility thing is going to wear off here in the next few days. So be very excited to actually see myself again. But yeah, as I said, that's going to wrap it all up, and I'll see you around. What is this? Memoirs of an Invisible Man? Fuck!